Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a quick review and overview of this guy right here, the ZT0609. Now this was kind of a interesting slash hard review. I kind of put it off a little bit because I've been getting a lot of other stuff and all stuff that's also been on the back burner that I've been needing to review. This guy, as you can see, the blade's a little dirty because I have used it. It's been a user. In fact, when I was we were painting our house, I use this a lot for cutting tape, for cutting cardboard, like graham paper, just to keep the floor. We paint on it, so this has been used quite a bit. It is 20 CV, so it can handle it. Good, definitely good heat treat on it. Still has a pretty darn good edge on it, even after cutting cardboard over and over and over and over. It still cuts pretty darn decently. So no complaints there. It also is a thin blade, so that helps not only just slicing in general, but takes off some of the pressure on the actual blade itself. Slices quite easily because of that. Thin behind the edge and thin stock overall. But before we get too far into it, let's do some size comparisons. A good one to do is the 940. I did not grab two things I need to compare it with. A couple other things near this price range. So like the 940 is a good one. Similar blade length, similar handle length there. What you're gonna find, this is the Rat Model 1. Obviously this is cheaper. This has also been used. Here we are. And the bare knuckle, a little bit less on the price point, but also very similar size. Another good one is going to be the Spyderco Shaman. Obviously, one thing you're going to see here is size difference. You get more cutting edge on this one. But one thing I will say over and over with this is that it is a fantastic EDC blade. Great pocket clip, just swoops up, no hook, nothing like that. Relative, not super deep, but you don't necessarily want it deep. You want something to grab onto and pulling it out. So that's nice. It is thin. Like it's very thin. Let's see, like the 9 compared to the 940. It's pretty darn close to the same thickness. It might be slightly, ever so slightly thinner. But that's kind of the point. And on top of that, a thinner blade stock. Just barely, but it is thinner. And you got all this dropping down. You have a a lot of distance to travel down, dropping it down to get to a nice thin blade. And this one thing about this blade is if you like grind lines, this has some great grind lines. I mean, action, great. It's not fall shutty, and that's okay. I think in our world, fall shutty there's different types of fall shutty, but this is not necessary. It has a great flipping action, great deployment. It's gonna deploy. Now you can shake it down if you really want to, and I bet I could mess with, with the action, really get it tuned. It is centered, so there is that. So I don't really need to necessarily work on the action, but this is more of a controlled shut, which is fine. But this is one of the models that started the new wave of ZTs. The thin craze, the ratio craze. When we're talking about like both thinness and blade to handle ratios and weight. This is about let's see, I think this guy off the top of my head, if I can remember, or let's double check. Yeah, it's about 4-ish ounces. So yeah, it's a little bit heavier than the actual blade length of the blade, but you're getting a 3.5 inch blade, which I think is a pretty good sweet spot for most people. It's longer, not too long. It's capable, but like also in knives like this, is great because it has great ratios. Now, how do you like the best knives? When it comes to ratio, if their goal is ratios, the best knives or best makers will have pretty close to a 50-50 ratio. The closest I've seen is where the blade was about an overall inch shorter than the handle. And that's where this guy sits. So it's a very good handle to blade to handle ratio. There are a few out there that do have slightly better ratios. One to compare will be like the Neon Zero. This guy's a little dusty. Had him at work yesterday and it was a dirty day. But as you can tell, the handle on the Shiro is ever so slightly, not by much, but slightly shorter than the handle on this, and they have the same blade length. So this guy has less than an inch difference, which is hard to do. And it's actually still just as hard to do an inch difference between the blade and the handle. So ratios, to be honest, on this one are on point. It's not quite an ounce an inch, which is fine. I mean, once you get to the 3.5 inch range, it's really, really hard to get under 3.5 ounces. It really is. And so unless you do some insane milling work, you're really gonna have a hard time getting at or under 3.5 ounces. But at this point, how thin it is overall, not just like the handle, but the blade itself and the performance is very good. Also, it does have very good ergos. The only problem that some people might have is it does kind of force you here. Now you can't go here, kinda. I'm missing this finger, but like you go do that, you can kind of go down slightly. You kind of go up a little bit. This is too risky. I wouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, this is a very recommendable ZT. The only real problem that I honestly have with it, functionally, like, yeah, okay, it might not be your style. That's fine. It can be a great knife or a good knife and just not be your style, and that's fine. Overall, it is a great knife, and it might not be your style, and that's fine. But the one actual negative I have towards it is this guy right here. There was a time where they shipped the tool with the knife. They do not do that anymore. I know you can obviously order it. That's fine. I have not checked if you can get it for free to you. Don't know that. But the fact that you even have to go out of your way to get it, and when it just doesn't come with it, that's kind of annoying. And obviously I could make a tool for this, but that's the other thing. I do think it's kind of cool that it goes all the way through. It's not anything new. I've seen it on Striders for a long time. I've seen it on some Diewares. But those are obviously like leaps and bounds better knives and more expensive knives. It's a whole different class of knives than this guy. But I've seen that particular thing done in other knives, but they do in those knives make it simple for you to be able to take these out. It's a basically like also a hinderer. You can't see through it, but similar styles, you hold on one end either a hex head or a flathead on one end, and then you can do a penny or something to unloosen it, and you're fine. But this one, they have a 6-pin on both sides. And obviously, I could probably drill out this hole slightly or thread it and then get like something to loosen it that way. I'm not going to do that, or I could make a tool for this, no, but the fact that I have to go out of my way and get a tool, even if I don't have to pay for it, still I have to do that. Anybody that gets this knife has to do that. Kind of crappy. I think they will be, or I'm hoping that they will actually start supplying the tool with these now again. I don't know if there's a reason why they stopped or what was going on there. But if they could come up with the same kind of pivot, but have it a hex head inside the middle, where you could still have the same kind of look, but you could get at it both sides and have like a hex head on it. That would be great. I don't know if they'll do that, but I think that would be great. Whether it's a different model knife, it's just something I would recommend. I do recommend this knife. It's one of CT's best at the moment. Definitely not their best knife that they've ever made, that's for sure. But it's definitely one of their best that they currently have out now. The only thing I have against it is the pivot. But if you can make a tool, or you can either ask for a tool or buy the tool, I don't know. That's the only really gripe I have about it. Definitely unique. Not a bad thing. I personally like the bronze, the texturing, and the useful but unique jimping. But for this price, it is a very recommendable knife. Blade style is unique yet harpoon-like, and very performance-oriented. Thin, good ergonomics, solid materials, solid build, great action, controlled closing, and that's up to you if you like that or not. I guess the question is, at the end of the day, is if you can get past the pivot part. If you can, and you like the style of the knife, and it's a good size for you, I would 100% recommend it. But I definitely would say this is a keeper of my collection. It will be staying. I like the style that much, and the performance that much. But that is going to be it for this one. Please subscribe. Please give my Instagram a follow and like the Facebook page. I will see you guys in the next one.